Thank you, John. That was really great. It's always great to hear your recollections of Bob, and it's interesting how people have the different Bobs that they know. And of course, Bob Wilkins for me, of course, was on my television screen at first, and I was in my Spider-Man pajamas, sobbing quietly under the coffee table, fearful of some horrible thing presented to me on Saturday nights. And you know, it's interesting because I really watched the show in the beginning just to be close to my dad, who was just asleep in the recliner, in the same room. But it was Bob who was interacting and talking to me. And later on, I got, of course, hooked, perverted, if you will, by the show. And I ended up getting very much into science fiction and horror films, being raised on it. And I wrote for a magazine called Planet X. This is in the mid-90s. And they interviewed Bob Wilkins for that magazine. Scott Moon was the publisher. And he said, well, let's do a launch for this magazine. And let's do like a live creature feature show. I've got a bunch of films on 16 millimeter. Let's just run some of these films. And Bob had been gracious enough to offer to host it. And Scott said, hey, why don't you and Bob write some material together? Are you kidding me? I couldn't write anything for Bob. Bob doesn't need me to help him prepare material for a show. But a few weeks later, as this thing came together, I got to meet Bob Wilkins. We met face to face. And I had prepared a bunch of really retarded material for him. And I made little fake VHS boxes that would have, like, Godzilla on Gilligan's Island, or, these things that I had created. And I made a fake, oh, thank you. I can tell my voice is falling apart from talking. I made a bunch of fake VHSs that had some gags. I made a fake TV guide because Bob, of course, liked to read the television TV guide and tell you the better thing that were on the other channels. And at that time, there was, I think, a Star Trek. There were the 4 collectible Captain Star Trek TV guides. I don't know if anyone remembers that. But I made the 5th TV guide that had Captain Pike on the cover. So anyway, so Bob liked the material. He thought it was and immediately, because he's just encouraging how wonderful person he was, he just said, you should get out of a chair and do this kind of thing. And I said, Bob, people don't really do that kind of